Beintoo is headquartered here in New York. Was created 3 years ago in Italy at the beginning, and then I moved here, and I'm a happy New Yorker since more than a year. And Beintoo Inc., our American entity, is headquartered in New York, 2 blocks from here, actually. So it's a pleasure today to be here, and actually today here, together with a press release, a joint press release with Gimbal, we are unveiling a new product called the B-Audience with a specific SDK for developers in beta and a platform for agencies and brands that will be rolled out starting today in beta mode and then widely available in Q1 2015. So, Beintoo is really focused on proximity-based advertising, Beintoo Inc. That's our main focus here in the United States, and we are happy and proud to have about this partnership with Gimbal. I remember that one of the very first conversations I had since I moved here in New York was actually with Gimbal. We knew what they were doing, and we immediately thought that this would have been a great opportunity for our focus in the United States. The market for location-based advertising is simply exploding. It will reach more than 15 billion by 2018 in the US only. And actually, the beacons deployment is growing exponentially already now since Q3 2014, with a further huge growth across Q4 and Q1 2015. More than 100,000 beacons will be deployed in Q1 2015, according to Indoor LBS report. 60 million beacons will be deployed globally by 2019, according to the research of ABI Research. And the market for proximity-based audiences exists today because agencies and brands are buying location-based audience already, and of course, a proximity-based audience based on beacons is actually even more interesting because much more precise in terms of understanding the intent and the purchase intent of users. The demand is growing daily. In fact, the current demand far outweighs already current supply. And this is what we, Beintoo, is working with Gimbal to solve. We want to create a beacon advertising ecosystem here in the US with strong benefits for brands, publishers, and even for end consumers. Because beacon advertising can allow to create a much better advertising experience for consumers, a recommendation-like experience for consumers. So consumers can benefit, which is very important, and we do not have to forget, that at the end of the day, it's really important that consumers can benefit also from advertising. In partnership with Gimbal and others, we are assembling all the links necessary to enable programmatic proximity-based audience ad buying. What it means, on the beacon network side, we're working with Gimbal and other beacon network owners to assemble a meta-network of beacon infrastructures. On the publisher side, we will be testing our library in conjunction and bundle with Gimbal SDK across a set of beta partner apps. Once this testing is complete, we will be aggressively expanding this publisher network through direct outreach to developers and partner channels like other companies with large SDKs developer base. We are already creating proximity audiences with our first test publisher and optimizing campaigns with these audiences by buying traffic in numerous demand-side platforms in the United States. I'll share a very interesting business case at the end of this presentation with an apparel retailer, but I can tell you that the results have been nothing short of remarkable so far. We have ready buyers lined up for even the relatively small proximity-based audience we've already compiled. The faster we bring on the publishers to our network, the faster we'll be able to grow these audiences and share revenue from these audiences back to our partner publishers. On the top of that, we are able to integrate information because we're able to close the loop thanks to our integration with technologies like Passbook or Google Wallet or credit card linked units. So we can actually, create audiences that are based on proximity analysis and also on actual, shopping activities of opted-in users. Our goal, our end goal across 2015 is actually to integrate these audiences into taxonomies of major DMPs and DSP platforms. We're going to start this integration in Q1. As our publisher and Beacon network grows, the more varied and granular our audience segments will become. I'd like to share with you an example of how proximity-based advertising can work, even under a programmatic perspective. Well, first of all, our end users have to opt in. That's very important in our perspective. End users need to be aware about what is happening inside the app. 86% of users, according to a recent report, declared that personalization of ads had an impact on at least one offline transaction. It means that users are eager to provide data if, one, they are aware, and two, they get some benefits from it. It's really important that the end users participate to this ecosystem. It's really important that they are aware and that they like the fact that they can receive personalized advertising experience, because this is going to create even more value for brands and agencies and publishers and for all the players of the ecosystem. So here we have basically an anonymous user that, of course, we can identify by a device ID or DFA. This user has opted in through one of our beacon sensing apps, implementing the Audience SDK in conjunction with Gimbal. And he opted in actually to receive personalized recommendation-like advertising experience based on his proximity. He goes to the movies where Beacon in our network has been installed. This data point feeds into our audience of entertainment and movies enthusiasts. An agency of a major movie studio wishing to promote the premiere of an upcoming movie can then decide to target this audience programmatically through partner DSP, for example. Our audience is actually available directly, for example, in the dashboard of partner DSP, through which this agency does usually the media buying. So that's where we want to go, programmatic ad buying. The agency selects our entertainment and movie enthusiast audience, and the user receives the ad for the upcoming movie premiere. We know that he's a movie enthusiast. We know that he's going to react and engage with this ad, especially if there is also a call to action like add a reminder on Passbook or to calendar. At the end of the day, our goal is very simple. We are aiming to create advertising experiences similar to the commonplace consumer recommendations users are used to receiving from cable TV companies or internet TV companies or e-commerce. That's where the value for the users is, Instead of receiving useless ads that they would receive anyway, because of course advertising is the core infrastructure of monetization of many apps, they can receive relevant ads not only in the app of our network actually, but everywhere, because then this audience can be retargeted through programmatic ad buying on DSP, and then the user can receive this ad wherever he is in mobile apps. So while he's using any of his favorite app. So that's very important, because the bigger is this network, the better will be the advertising experience, because he will receive more and more personalized ads in more and more apps that he's using. How it works for publisher. So first of all, we are in beta mode. So the first thing to do is to go on beintoo.com and get in contact with us at beaudience@beintoo.com, our email for this product. You are going to receive access to our development environment and developer documentation. So it's still in private mode, the documentation, but if you get in contact with us and you tell us, what apps you have and what is your goal, we can give you access to our developer environment and API documentation and SDK documentation. Once you do that, once you have this access, it's easy as counting 1, 2, 3. And I'm not exaggerating here. Basically, those developers who already have Gimbal's SDK, that's very simple. They have just to integrate our lightweight and very straightforward library, which includes also in the initialization phase a seamless opt-in and opt-out notification mechanism. Basically, what you have to do is that if you have Gimbal SDK, in your delegate function that is called by Gimbal SDK, as soon as you are nearby a beacon, you have to add a very simple call to a method of our SDK that will allow us to gather the information of the opted-in user and use this information in order to create clusters and segments and audiences. If you don't already have Gimbal's SDK, you can simply integrate our audience SDK that actually will embed Gimbal SDK technology in order to be able to identify Gimbal's beacons or your own beacons if you also have your private deployment of beacons as brand. Once the SDK is installed, nothing more is required on your side. Users, when they download the app or update the app, will be prompted with an opt-in mechanism. They will have an opt-out mechanism in the settings, and we will analyze the information about the proximity of users, the proximity history of users, and build audiences. Also, integrating information about closing the loop at the register. All you have to do is sit back and see what happens in terms of revenues. This is an example of a 2.5 million installs, 2.5 million users who actually opted in. Let's imagine you have 2.5 million users who opted in, not necessarily monthly active, current installs, that they opted in after an update, for example. We believe that it's really possible with our current integration to arrive at this level of revenues. Why is that? Because basically already in the first beta, we're going to provide this information to programmatic partners that will basically distribute these audiences in the market. And the publisher is gonna get on average a significant CPM on any impression delivered to these users. Any impression, meaning even if the ad impression is not in your app, you're gonna get a part of that revenue because the impression is targeted to a user who opted in through your app, and we created the profile of the user thanks to your app. So the scalability of revenues is massive because it means that a single user, can probably be targeted in the month from 50 to 100 from 50 to 100 impressions because he's not going to receive ads just in your app. He can receive ads targeted to his audience everywhere. Actually, you can even decide not to deliver ads at all. That's very important. Our partner developers, they can choose not to deliver ads. They just participate to the proximity audience network. They opt in, they make users opt in. They provide information about the proximity history of users, and they can monetize even if they don't deliver a single ad. So the concept is that it's a purely incremental revenue stream that has no impact at all on your user experience. If you don't want to add, and if you don't want to create an ad user experience, you can still do it, and you can still monetize because you're gonna monetize on all the impressions targeted to the audience, no matter where the impression occurs. Actually, that's the powerful aspect of the proximity network we are trying to create. Of course, just on opted-in users. Not bad for a few hours integration. It's literally minutes of integration. We say hours, taking into account, of course, all the testing that you need to do before going live. This is the power of the network we're building in partnership with Gimbal. And, this is the opportunity for developers. So we want to create a new ecosystem and a new way of monetization for developers with a rich user base and capable to drive opted-in users. Privacy. That's fundamental. We are obsessed with privacy. Privacy is, on the top of our concerns. Because we believe that if users are aware, and if these users get benefits, it's beneficial also for the brand and for the advertiser. We do not analyze, of course, any personal identifiable information. For us, the user is just an hash of a device ID. We inform users through the opt-in in the Beacon Sensing app. We inform them and we tell them, by this experience, you're going to receive personalized ads. Ads that you would receive anyway, by the way. So it's not that you are receiving more ads, because any app has advertising today. We give you the chance to receive, relevant and useful ads. We provide an opt-out mechanism. We are going to get major privacy certification in the United States in the next days already. And we are committed to working only with advertising, complying with the highest industry standards in terms of integrity and equity and quality of ads. I would like to share with you here an interesting business case in the apparel domain. So we created a campaign for Aeropostale. Aereo, it's a brand of apparel targeted to teenagers or young people anyway. Let's say from 14 to 21st. We had a very nice audience thanks to one of our partner apps. It is actually a shopping app, so users opted in. And a consumer in a B audience aligned with Aeropostale brands receives an ad and click on it, and it can actually save an offer on Passbook. The CTR on the first ad was in the order of 1%, but the post-click Passbook saving rate was very high, in the order of 12%. On this campaign, we installed more than 30,000 passes to an equivalent number of unique users, more than 1,000 per day. So out of 100 people who clicked on the ad, 12 of them ended up adding the pass on their Passbook. So 12% pass saving rate is a very nice metric. But even more interestingly, then 52% of people who saved the pass actually completed an offline transaction in an Aereo store. We were capable to get aggregated data about the transaction in each store, because Aereo is using a new POS, cloud-based POS, and is integrated with a platform actually to identify if a specific coupon code is redeemed in store. So we were capable to analyze the whole funnel from the ad impression down to the offline transaction at the register. So 52% of people who saved the pass actually completed a transaction. And interestingly, in 8 weeks period, because the interesting thing of Passbook is actually that you don't have to go to the store right away, of course. You can go whenever you can, and you receive reminders, dates triggered or geofence triggered. So users, even after 8 weeks, we were monitoring, we are still monitoring actually, because the campaign is pretty recent, transaction in after more than 2 months from the end of the campaign. So here basically we used Passbook in conjunction with proximity-based audiences. And we believe that this is the way to finally have an effective and scalable drive-to-store advertising strategy. We believe that smartphones are the perfect device. The smartphone is the perfect device for driving people to store, for creating loyal behavior, for driving repeated purchases behavior. But the problem is that, we need to understand how to do that, because it's not trivial, because users cannot just stop doing what they're doing when they receive an ad and go to a store. So it's really important to build the right experience for the consumers. And we believe that in partnership with Gimbal and through our B-Audience platform and Passbook integration, we are going in the direction to have a scalable drive-to-store advertising platform. Well, we are looking for beta partners. We did already some campaigns, as you can see from the business case. Now we want to replicate the impressive engagement rates of our pilot campaigns on a programmatic scale. We delivered already more than 80,000 passes, all of that in the last 2 months. So we are looking for partners in order to, bring these impressive engagement rates at scale and on a programmatic scale. So we're putting out a call to agencies and advertisers seeking proximity-based enriched audiences for their campaigns in 2015. We're seeking for developers and publishers. We're looking for developers and publishers seeking to increase average revenue per user. So if you have an app, even if you don't want to put advertising, even if your app is not ad-enabled, you can work with us and you can add this incremental revenue stream. And we're putting out a call to Beacon Network owners, because by this platform, Beacon Network owners, they can monetize their BLE devices infrastructures. It's very simple. It's a 3-player ecosystem. We have advertisers, we have publishers, and we have Beacon owners. Every time an ad impression is delivered to a user, we share revenues with the publisher, but also with the Beacon infrastructure that allowed us to create that audience. So we are trying to create an ecosystem that allows BLE infrastructure owners to monetize. That's very important. And on the top of that, if you have your private Beacon network, you can create your private audiences. If you are a retailer, if you are a brand, and you deploy beacons, we can create private audiences, meaning that these audiences can be targeted through partner DSP just by you or by a list of approved selected brands and vendors. So this can be also another way for retailers, for example, to monetize and create new opportunities for their partner brands and vendors to create highly effective campaigns. If you are a premium app developer, if you have massive traffic, you can create your private audiences too as a publisher. I can decide to create my audiences, and just my own sales force or my partner advertisers will be able to target those users. So not only we are aiming to create audiences available on partner DSP to advertisers and brands, but both Beacon owners, so retailers and brands, for example, and publishers can actually use the audience to create their own segments and make them available just to a selected list of partner advertisers and brands. So that's, why we believe that this platform can really create an ecosystem, because it can allow also to create this mechanism of private audiencing and private retargeting. So the call is out. If you are a brand, an agency, a DSP, publisher, a Beacon network owner, we're interested in talking to you in order to offer you the opportunity to join this beta and to join this new ecosystem that will grow dramatically in the upcoming months. And if you have more technical questions today, you can talk to our people, to our product people at our table, and we can show you also a quick demo of an app that is integrated with the SDK, and you can leave your card and enroll to get the access to our beta development environment. So now I think I talked too much, and that's always a big issue with me. So I thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, of course, now I'm more than happy to answer. Thank you very much.